Welcome to The Thinking Chamber, where you can find clear and calm analysis for when the headlines stop making sense. Today, we're not asking whether the Conservative Party can govern. We're asking if it can survive. The Conservative Party is standing at a historic juncture. After more than a decade in power, it has suffered its most devastating electoral defeat in generations. The question is no longer, can they govern? It's, can they remain relevant? In this video, we'll unpack how the Tories reached this moment of crisis, the deep-rooted challenges they now face, and whether there's a realistic path back to political dominance. The 2024 general election saw the Conservatives lose over 200 seats, their worst performance since 1906 when the Liberals swept to power. They lost the Red Wall, the Blue Wall, and parts of the South long considered unwinnable for Labour. Even in rural England, cracks began to show. What happened? Let's start with trust. Years of political scandals, Partygate, crony contracts, illegal gatherings, and Liz Truss's catastrophic mini-budget, which wiped out billions in pension fund value, shattered public confidence. Each scandal didn't just damage individual MPs, it eroded the public's trust in the party's judgment, stability, and competence. And beneath the surface was an identity crisis. The Conservative Party once stood for fiscal discipline, law and order, and a sense of British institutional pride. But in recent years, the message has become muddled. Austerity followed by unprecedented spending. Global Britain talks alongside isolationist rhetoric. A party caught between culture war posturing and vague promises of levelling up. The result? A fractured base, defections from both right and centre, and a growing sense, even among core supporters, that the party had no clear purpose beyond holding on to power. The road to recovery isn't just steep, it's littered with structural landmines. Demographics are working against the Conservatives. Voters aged 18 to 34 overwhelmingly lean left, not just socially, but economically. In the latest post-election polling, Tory support among under 35s sits below 15%. That's not just a bad number, it's a demographic collapse, and the digital gap is widening. While Labour and the Liberal Democrats have invested heavily in social-first communication like TikTok explainers and short-form storytelling, the Conservatives are still relying on broadcast-style messaging, party conference clips, and outdated slogans. Next, internal division. The parliamentary party is now split into competing tribes. Hardline Brexiteers still pushing sovereignty narratives, Red Wall MPs focused on local economic renewal, and moderates pushing for a reset towards centrist urban voters. No clear ideological anchor means no unifying strategy, and voters can feel that confusion. And above it all looms the biggest question. How do you ask the public to believe in a fresh start when you've been in charge for 14 years? The Tories have become a party carrying the baggage of government without the clarity of vision. So what does a possible comeback look like? It starts with substance, not just spin. A conservative renaissance must offer real, tangible solutions to today's problems. For example, radical housing reform. Not just promising new builds, but fixing planning laws, tackling rental insecurity, and creating paths to home ownership for young voters. A credible green agenda, treating net zero not as a culture war, but as a growth opportunity rooted in innovation and national resilience. A 21st century economic message that speaks to freelancers, gig economy workers, and SMEs, not just large corporations. Leadership matters too. Names like Kemi Badenoch or Tom Dugunthat might excite the base, but charisma alone won't cut it. The next leader must be disciplined in messaging, unified in vision, and media savvy enough to regain control of the national narrative. Then there's the question of representation. The 2024 election saw a record diversity across Parliament, but the Tories fell behind, losing support among women and ethnic minority voters. If the party wants to build a long-term majority, it must reflect a modern Britain, not just demographically, but in tone, policy, and posture. Globally, conservatism is changing. In the US, it's tilting populist. In France, it's folding into Macron's centrism. In Germany, the center-right is rethinking climate and migration in practical terms. So the question isn't, should conservatism survive? It is, what should it stand for in the 2020s and beyond? British conservatism has a legacy of adaptation. From Disraeli's one-nation ideals to Thatcher's free market revolution, it has repeatedly reinvented itself in times of national uncertainty. Its next chapter might lie in a new synthesis, one that is pragmatic, not ideological, socially aware without being performative, economically competent but not cold. Could a party focused on innovation, civil liberties, regional equality, and actual delivery appeal to a new generation? Maybe, but it has to act fast. The center ground is being redrawn, and if the conservatives don't evolve, someone else will claim it. The Conservative Party isn't finished, but it's fractured. What comes next depends on not just who leads it, but on whether the party can listen, learn, and lead with purpose. Is this the end of an era, or the beginning of a long overdue reinvention? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Thinking Chamber for calm, clear political analysis that cuts right through the noise. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.